Hey folks, Damien from Southpaw Designs, and today I thought we would take a few minutes and showcase some of the most successful projects and some of the best money makers that I've run across over the year 2022. Now, for anybody who stumbled onto this channel for the first time, I started my woodworking journey about a year and a half ago. And then about 6 months ago, in May, June of this year, I got my Onefinity CNC. And there are several videos down in the description and on my channel that show off a lot of different aspects of the CNC and a lot of these projects right here. So what I thought we would do today is we'd talk about some of these. Now, some of these are CNC projects and some of them are conventional woodworking projects, but almost everything that you see here are projects that I have sold or have had a lot of interest in. And there are a couple that I just put in there because they're some of my favorites. So let's dig right in. Now, also, some of these projects that we're looking at, I've actually done videos on them. And if that's the case, I'll actually link the particular videos in the description below. The first project that we'll talk about right here is this set of coasters. Now, I've made several coasters, as you can see right here, and I've tried different methods, different sizes, shapes, but I really like this particular style of coaster. The reason why I like them is because you can take something as simple as a coaster, which might not be a very good seller, and you can turn it into an actual showpiece. Now, what I mean by that is that this is just a typical set of coasters, very easy to make. This entire project takes about 25 minutes on the CNC and about 10 minutes to sand and finish. I'll have much less than an hour's worth of work into a set of these, but I also put them in my laser engraver, and you can engrave these with whatever design you like. Now, this happens to be my high school's logo. For anybody who doesn't know, I teach high school, and over the course of my 9 years there, I've coached multiple sports. So I know that my particular area has a great sense of school spirit, and so these are the types of projects that really sell. They're personalizable, and then, like I said, they actually become something of a showpiece. Now, next we have some other experiments with creating coasters. This was a design where I actually tried to cut the logo into the coaster itself instead of using a laser engraver. Now, this ended up being a pretty good project as well. The only thing that I kind of fumbled around with was the of figuring out the best finish to use. I tried Danish oil, and Danish oil kind of got into the grooves there, and when it dried, it left a little bit of residue inside of it, so that wasn't a good finish. At the end of the day, I just tried some polyurethane, and that ended up being a really good finish. Now, you might look at this and think it looks kind of crappy, but that's actually on purpose. I had a little bit of a live edge there, so I decided to give that a shot, and I think that actually worked out pretty well. As you can see here, it is pretty kind of, I guess, rustic is the word I'm looking for, but that was actually done on purpose. It was an experiment to see what it would look like, and I like these. I keep these in my basement. These are some that I have, and they look kind of worn. Well, that's because I've actually used them, so they've had mugs and glasses and everything right on them. But this was also a very fun project. Now, before we go any further, I do hope you take a second and click that subscribe button down there in the description below, because I'm really building this channel, and I put new content out pretty much every week. So if you'd like to be kept up to date about new projects, new designs, new ideas, hit that subscribe button. All right, next comes this little catch-all tray. This was a simple design, but it's actually one of my wife's favorite pieces. It's used for change, it's used for keys, sits right there in front of our door, and it's a simple design. It's made out of black walnut, and I used a little Odie's oil on it. But something like this is a very simple design that can actually turn into a great little showpiece in your home. You could also personalize it. You could tweak it any way that you wanted to. I have an idea about making it a little bit bigger and adding another bowl right here in the center, and then it can become kind of a chip tray, and you can put dip in the middle of it and that kind of thing. But this is actually a fun project, and it is one that I have a video on, so it's going to be linked in the description as well. Next, let's take a second and talk about a laser engraver. The laser engraver was something I didn't plan on acquiring this year, but a company reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to do a review of it. So I did. There was no downside to it. And that laser engraver ended up being a great investment because it's paid for itself many times over. Doing something as simple as adding personalization to existing products is very easy to do. A friend asked me to engrave a couple of these as a belated wedding presents, and that's exactly what you see right here. I just simply put it under the laser engraver and let it do its thing. Took all of about 20 minutes to create, and you can list these, or you can offer those personalization services for $10 to $20, something like this. Typically would charge about $20 to engrave and personalize. Not only is it engraved, but I also put a little coat of shellac on it because I didn't want the char to rub off. So it's going to look like this for a long time. It's a great little project, and it's very easy to do. So if you don't have a laser engraver, I strongly recommend it. Even a small, simple one will pay for itself in a very short period of time. All right, let's go ahead and move some of this stuff out of the way so we can see some of the bigger things. All right, so next we have this personalized I Heart Granny frame. A friend of mine contacted me and said she'd seen something like this on Etsy, but asked me if I'd like to take a shot at it. And this was a fun project, and I really like this one because it can be easily customized. Now, it took a little while to design all the vines and everything. I didn't take an original file. I didn't find a file online. I wanted to create something that was mine so that I didn't feel bad about taking somebody else's design and creating it. It's created out of 2 layers of plywood, half-inch plywood. If I were to do it again, I would probably use thinner plywood, maybe a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch plywood, or use actual wood, because I don't like the fact that you can actually see the layers of the ply right there. I'd like for it to be a little bit nicer, but you know, that depends on how much money you actually want to put into it. This one I'm going to turn around and sell for about $75 to $80, and you can, now that the design is created, you can swap out the names very easily. What I chose to do right here was I actually put a little bit of stain on there and then sanded it off. And there will be another video that actually shows how I created this. This is a slate gray color. And then back here in the back, that's actually just a very thin piece of plywood. And I used a light or a dark brown just on the plywood. Oh, and then also right here on the edges, to kind of cover up the plywood, I have some leftover cherry, and so I just cut some cherry strips to kind of frame that up a little bit. Now, this one could be done a little bit better. For a lot of the things that I'm showing you a version 1.0, or the first time that I've ever tried it. So I'm going to refine the process a little bit, but this is a great idea for a project that can be easily tweaked and customized and can be a very popular seller. Okay, next we have this simple little wine caddy. This was something that I made for my wife, and it's not my original design. This is one that you've probably seen several times online, but it's very easy to create in any program like Easel or Fusion or VCarve Pro. You just take your wine glasses out right there, set them down, and take it off. So it's created with a CNC. You could also possibly use a scroll saw on this, but I like using my CNC as much as I can. And this is a very simple little project, and I do have a video on this if you'd like to see how that was made, in downloadable files available. Now, depending on when you see this, I'm in the process of building my website, and once my website's ready, I will have files for pretty much everything that I do up online. So I don't know if you're gonna, depending on when you actually watch this, you may or may not see a link to my website down in the description below. Oh, you'll also see that I did customize it, put our name on it, using, once again, using my laser engraver, but you could easily do the same thing with a V-bit on your CNC. Okay, next is a project that I've created a few of these, and I keep on refining the process because I think this has a lot of potential. I've actually sold 4 of these, and I put a price of $50 on them, but I'm not really happy with the results of it. Now, I do have a video showing the version 1.0 where I actually used a V-bit to cut out the snowflakes, but I didn't like the paint job. I'm not very good at painting. If you're watching any of my videos, here's piece of advice number 1. Don't listen to my painting advice. I suck at painting. But anyway, I think this project has a lot of potential to it, because here's what I like about it and here's what I'm trying to do with it. Once I actually refine it and get it to where I'm happy with it, I'm going to actually put magnets inside the name and then magnets on the back of it. So you can actually pop the name off, and then I can create 4 or 5 different designs, however many, one for Halloween, one for Thanksgiving, one for 4th of July. So you can pop your name off, and then you can put it onto each of the different ones, and you can swap this out over the course of the year. Oh, and in case I didn't tell you, this is a door hanger for your front door. So I really enjoy this project. This is one that's made on the CNC, and I think you can really do a good job with, but I'm not happy with the results so far. I'm definitely not happy with the paint job, and that needs to be improved. Okay, so this one I chose to include because it is a project that I created. In fact, I actually created a video on it and posted it online, but then I took it down a couple hours later because I felt it was kind of self-serving and it was kind of bragging, even though that wasn't the intention. As you may have heard me say, I teach high school, and I've coached several sports over the course of the past 9 years. Actually going as far back as 2008 at my previous school. But since I came to my current school, Boyle County High School, I've actually been a part of some incredible teams. And so these are state championship rings that I have earned over the course of my years at Boyle County High School. Now, I hesitated to even show this because it might seem like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I play a very small part in most of these teams, but it is something that I'm proud of. They're accomplishments that I'm very proud of. With the football team, which if you know anything about my school, we have a very good football program. I'm the video coordinator, or I was the video coordinator. I kind of retired from that this year. And then they went and won another state championship. So congratulations, Boyle County High School. When it came to track and field, I coached one event. I coached pole vault, which is one event out of 18. I feel that I was very good at it. I had several of my student athletes placed at the state meet, and I've got 5 state championship rings from here. And something kind of fun, I am the coach of the first ever esports state champions in the state of Kentucky. When we were having our initial meeting, one of the players said, "Hey, when we win the state championship, do we get state championship rings like all the other sports do?" I kind of laughed because I had no clue what we were doing at the time. And I said, "Yeah, sure." And lo and behold, that first season, we actually won the state championship in esports in the state of Kentucky. So that was something I was very proud of. Although even while we were playing that championship match, I really had no clue what was going on. I was just sitting there watching the kids play. So again, I'm kind of the Forrest Gump of state champions. I've been around for a lot of things, and I've played very small roles, and it's been a blast. But this is something I wanted to kind of show off a little bit. And the final thing. This is my first ever project that I created in my shop. Living in central Kentucky, I have access to bourbon barrels more than a lot of people might. And in fact, I'm within about an hour of probably a dozen bourbon distilleries in the area. And so bourbon barrels are relatively easy to come by. One of the big reasons is that bourbon barrels cannot be used to age bourbon more than one time. So once they've been used, they're repurposed for wine, for barrel aging beer, or for creating furniture and decor, as you see right here. So this was actually a bourbon barrel. That bourbon barrel lid that I cut up, and I just kind of figured out how to do it. There really was no template for this, but it ended up being a lot of fun. And also, this is something that I've created a few of these and sold them. These will go for $150 to $175 all day long. You can also add customization to them. Now that I have my CNC, if I do any more, I'll probably do that. Or with a laser engraver. So this is something that's very popular in my area. This was a fun project, and it's something that I love doing because it's hard to mess these up because they're supposed to be imperfect. There's absolutely nothing that is measured accurately, and there's a lot of trial and error figuring out how to do these. So I do have a link in the description below and right up here where you can actually see this if you'd like to see how it was made. So once again, thank you guys for all of your support in 2022. And please hit that subscription button below. Leave a comment because those little things right there really help YouTube know that this is a good, important video. And it helps them to kind of push that out a little bit more to a wider audience. So thank you guys, and I love you. And let's do great things in 2023. Why did I just say I love you? That was stupid.